mean, don't start it yet, but
Oh, I already did start it, though.
dude, come on, I'm still fucking trying to find this video.
We better hurry.
Okay.
Yeah, this is your audition for the couch casting video.
Couch casting, nice.
Yeah. You
What
nervous?
up, yo?
You nervous?
No, not at all.
Oh, good, because you're a movie star, baby.
With this hair, yeah, I'm always a movie star.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is H from the Comeback Sports Podcast, and this is Season 4, Episode 4. And joining me today is Mike, a.k.a. Moneymaker Mike, a.k.a. Cornball Mike. And you'll find out why we call him Cornball Mike very shortly.
They don't call me that.
Yeah, well, at least I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, right?
No, yeah. Oh, no, he calls me that all the time.
Okay. To kind of go over the topics, as you can tell, me and Mike are both wearing some football jerseys because it's week 1 and it's going to be Packers at Vikings on Sunday.
Sunday only.
Sunday only. It's not prime time, is it?
It's 3:25, so
No.
that's America's game of the week.
Oh, okay. There you go.
All right, that's what they call it.
So here's what me and Mike are going to do. We're just going to kind of go over both our teams. Mike will talk about what he likes or dislikes about his team so far. I'll do the same for my team. We'll do kind of like a quarter basis of what the predictions are going to be for each quarter. And then we'll do some kind of NFC North predictions along with what the season outcome is going to look like. And then we'll take a quick break and kind of talk about some other sports-related topics. But first off, Mike, thanks for coming on. I feel like
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we always talk about sports when. Oh yeah, Mike's my coworker, by the way, and we usually chat about sports instead of working. Don't tell our bosses. And it's like, why don't we just get on the show and talk about it rather than talk shit at the desk
During hours.
Yeah, during work hours. But yeah, like I said, thanks for coming in. And since you're the guest of the show, why don't you go ahead and talk about your team first?
Oh, my Vikings. They've made a lot of changes this offseason, starting with the GM and coach, which is great. But the problem is they're going by this thing called a competitive rebuild, which is not a tear down. They're not completely rebuilding the team. They're just kind of adding new players. So it really doesn't seem like any kind of different approach than what any other team is doing. I mean, we have the same starting QB, the same wide receivers, pretty much all the same offensive players. It was just a really big change up in the scheme. And then the defensive scheme is massively changed too. I mean, we were going 4-3 for the longest time, and now it's going to be a 3-4 defense. We added some guys, Zadarius Smith from the Packers. We got D. Hunt back. He's going to be great. But I don't know. This is going to be one of those wait and see kind of things because, I mean, everyone's chipper and excited about it, but we also haven't lost a game yet. So once that happens, then we'll know, what we're working with going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely we'll be talking about the acquisition for Zadarius because, quite frankly, I prefer him over Preston, but I'll jump into that later. But in terms of kind of what I like about my team, start with the receivers. I talked about this last episode. There's a lot of question marks. I don't know what to expect, especially now since Allen Lazard and Christian Watson are still questionable. So Romeo Doubs may have to be that guy. And as I said, Rodgers has talked good things about him, so hopefully he can step up to the occasion. And running backs, that's where I'm seeing the most certainty. It's a 1-2 punch. I mean,
love the running backs.
Yeah. Aaron Jones fits very well in kind of like a West Coast offense that Rodgers likes. Like he's utility knife. He can make some catches and big plays. And speaking of big plays, you got A.J. Dillon, who has tree trunks for legs.
Dude, the guy's massive. He's massive.
He's a strapping young man, as McAfee said. But yeah, he's perfect for third and short situations. I'm sure fantasy owners will like him in those sort of red zone opportunities. In terms of O-line, I'm hoping David Bakhtiari is going to be back on track for week 1 because he's a Pro Bowler, and Ohio State's Josh Myers is looking pretty good for a sophomore year. In terms of the defensive side, man, I'm very excited to see the cornerbacks and safeties put in work. Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage, and one of my favorite rookies last year was Eric Stokes. It's going to be great to see that.
Packers got a scary defense.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I was more afraid of the Packers defense than their offense. Like right now, I outside of Lazard, I can't think of anyone, and even Lazard himself isn't that impressive. But there's no one really impressive on that offense. I like their running backs, but they're not like Aaron Jones 2 years ago was super top tier. Now AJ Dillon's given him much more of like more competition. They're going to be splitting more touches. So but their defense, dude. I even drafted them. And I'm very opposed to drafting Packers defense, but now I'm locked in.
Yeah, the only thing I don't I'm not sure with the defense is just kind of like the run game. It seems like year after year they always allow big plays when other teams are running it.
Who's that big guy they got though? That nose tackle? Kenny Clark?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good though.
Yeah, I like Kenny. In terms of like what I like from the Vikings, I did kind of write some notes down. It just depends, man. With you got performance anxiety Kirk over here, man.
Yes.
Is he gonna step up or?
That's the thing. Like a lot of people were saying, his relationship with the former regime was just not good, and that was something that was holding him back. But the guy's 34. He's a grown man. Like, all right, the coach isn't like your best friend, but does he need to be? Like, you have all these other weapons around you. He's a smart guy. Like, he gets along well enough with everyone. Like, that can't be the excuse. And we're going to find out this year if it really is, because he has reportedly a great relationship with their new coach, Kevin O'Connell. He used to work with him back when they were both in Washington. So they have some sort of rapport already. But it just seems like Kirk's not the kind of guy who's going to go out there and lead your team like a Brady or a Rodgers. Like, he's going to take his notes from his coach. He's going to apply them, and if they work, they work. If they don't, hey, that's what the coach told me to do, so it's out of my control.
Would you say he's kind of more systematic?
He's 100% set. Like, he's systematic and conditional, meaning if the conditions around him are perfect, like the line's holding up, his receivers are catching the ball, running backs are doing what they got to do, this guy is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. But the second he faces some adversity. There we go. Adversity. Man, this guy, he just folds like a lawn chair. That's just how. Look up like what other sports reporters have objectively said about him. He's great when conditions are great, but when things slip up, he's Kirk.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that in terms of the situational base, because like when you look at the numbers, he's very efficient.
Super efficient.
That's when context comes into play. It's like, when does he fold like a lawn chair, as you said, and it's big moments.
It's the biggest moments. Our great highlight of this was, I think it was last year or maybe it was 2 years ago against Washington, or maybe it was either Washington or San Francisco. They're approaching the goal. They might even be on the goal line, but they're in like a 4th and goal situation. They have at least one timeout left, and this is a crucial play. They have to convert here, and Kirk lines up under the guard instead of the center. There were just so many things going on. He's trying to direct other people that he literally lines up under the guard, and they had to burn a timeout for this. I don't even remember if they converted on that play or not, but they had to burn a timeout because this guy, he just got so nervous that he lined up under the guard instead of the center. And he's done this in college once before. He's also had a situation where instead of clocking the ball, spiking it, he took a knee. A lot of people forget about that, but he did do that at least one time in his college career. I think he might have done it in the NFL once too. So he's not the best under pressure, which means your defense and your other players have to bail him out more often. Like, he can't be put in that, hey, we got to get a touchdown on this last drive to win.
And that's when like Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook have to come in and
that's when they
be who they are. Because I'll make the argument that Justin Jefferson may be better than Jamar Chase.
I think everyone thinks. Most people outside of Cincinnati fans, I think, also agree with that.
Yeah, which I had in my notes is like, do you feel like with Justin Jefferson taking the spotlight, especially for like fantasy owners, like Adam Thielen has been pushed aside a little bit, or do you think the production is still there?
No, Adam Thielen was never the number one here. For him, it was Stephon Diggs, and Diggs was a late round draft pick. So comparatively, Diggs worked his way to the top, and he solidified himself for a reason. Adam also solidified himself as a receiver for a reason too, but he was never the number one. Even when Justin was just getting there, like for some odd reason, when he first got drafted, they didn't start him the first 2 weeks. He was coming off the bench. which I think affected his rookie numbers. He would have been a 1,400-yard receiver that year. But he didn't get the start right away, even though he was totally NFL ready. I don't think Adam feels any way about it. I feel like, if anything, he likes that there's another guy like a Diggs who takes that pressure off him, so that second cornerback, that really good one, it's going to cover him. That's why Adam gets so many touchdowns in the end zone. They're focused on, is Dalvin getting the ball or is Justin getting the ball? And then there's Adam over there in the corner spotting up, bam, touchdown.
That's a good point. Yeah.
He also gets paid a lot, Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
For what he does, he gets paid a lot. And they're actually going to have to think about moving on from him next year because he gets paid. Like, there's just no way to give him less money at this point. So they might have to just cut him.
Yeah, they might have to, but we'll see. Because then you also have Jalen Reagor that's in the mix now.
Yes, yes. I was hoping you'd bring this up. I was not happy with them doing that because in order to make that roster spot open, they had to cut someone. So they cut one of their other receivers, Amir Smith-Marset from Iowa. He was showing a lot of promise, and for a guy who they probably weren't going to have to pay a lot, who was okay with his role in the system already, they kind of just ditched him for a guy that is totally unproven, and if anything has proven that he shouldn't have been selected in the first round, especially not in front of Justin Jefferson. And I think it's very awkward having done that when I don't think him and Justin have any kind of beef, but I think Jalen Reagor's been asked that a lot since coming to the Vikings, like, hey, is it weird that you and Justin are on the same team now? And he has to be there like, no, we're on the same team. Like, what do you expect him to say? You know what I mean?
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, like, is he really going to say that? You know what I mean? Like, of course not. Of course he's going to be, team friendly and all that. I'm sure he does deep down, and I would feel the same. I'd feel a little weird about being on the same team, on the same receiving core as the guy that was selected after me, but who's been arguably the best in the league.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, in terms of things that I do like about your kind of like the overall team for the Vikings is like, I looked at the depth chart, and you don't have a lot of questionable players, which is good. So that means you can probably start the season in a good note. And looking at your schedule, you got the hardest games I can see on this schedule is like Green Bay twice, obviously, Philly, New Orleans, Buffalo, and Indy. It's not that bad of a schedule. I would say it's kind of in mid-tier in terms of difficulty.
Now, so there is one 3-game stretch where I think will show who the Vikings really are. And I think it goes New England, Dallas, and then someone else who's like a mid-tier team that's pretty good, who has playoff aspirations. And that is going to be really tough for them because the New England game is on Thanksgiving. It's the primetime Thanksgiving game. So it's a short week already, and then they have to travel a lot between those. I don't think any of those games are home games. So they do have, like you said, the Packers are going to be that's going to probably be their toughest 2 matchups will be the Packers. And then, of course, they got to start off against the Packers. So I'm a little nervous about their schedule. I have not looked at the Packers schedule, though.
Yeah, I need to look more into that because I assume it's probably going to be similar to last year, and we'll kind of go into more about that when we talk about the overall outcome. But let's kind of like transition over to like the predictions of week 1 because it's in Minnesota. So as I just mentioned, me and Mike will kind of just go by quarter basis. Since Mike led off last segment, I'll kind of start it off in terms of my predictions. Starting with quarter 1, I think Vikings are going to score first, and it's going to be Kirk to Jefferson. I mean, that's the obvious choice and the best duo within that team. What are your thoughts on quarter 1?
I 1,000% agree. Well, as long as the Vikings get the ball first, I think they will score first. They just have a really good history of doing that. And if it's a Justin Jefferson connection or Kirk Cousins connection to Jefferson, that's great for my fantasy team. But after that, after quarter 1, I really don't think the Vikings are going to score much.
Oh, well, in quarter 2, I got Packers actually getting their first TD. I think they might get a field goal within quarter 1, but Vikings are going to get the lead in quarter 2, but then Rodgers is going to what I noticed about Rodgers, he's always rusty in the first quarter or even first game of seasons.
Yeah.
And I think by the second quarter, I mean, it may be a situation where his receivers aren't ready yet, so he's going to have to rely on Aaron Jones for the first touchdown, which will come before halftime. And then halftime comes around, and I would say in third quarter, both teams are going to have the same amount of points before they get into the fourth quarter.
I'd agree with that. So second quarter, I think the Vikings are going to go through a little. They might sprinkle in a field goal in the second quarter, but I think they'll go on a little bit of a touchdown drought. Halftime, they'll make their adjustments and stuff. This is the thing. If this was the last regime, I could tell you exactly how the game was going to go based on how all their other games went. They would be, one score in the first quarter, nothing in the second, a little bit in the third, and then they'll make a desperate move in the fourth to tie, make the game really close, tie it up or whatever. But with this regime, I really just don't know. You know what I mean? They can come out at halftime with, a great new scheme and strategy, what they're going to do for the rest of the game, or they could just stick with what they've been doing. It really just depends on this coach. Like, I just don't know enough about him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of adjustments for both teams.
Right.
Because Packers, it's the same coach, but young receivers, as I mentioned. So there's a little uncertainty in terms of how, accurate or kind of how sure I am this is going to happen. But I will say Dalvin Cook will at least get a TD within this game. I forgot to mention that part for quarter 3 is when he'll get that first one.
I can see that.
In terms of quarter 4, it's going to be pretty much the same narrative that we see with almost any Packers game. Is going to be that Packers D is going to have a huge stop. Rodgers is going to just get enough done to put Mason Crosby in a situation, get a game-winning field goal.
They still got Mason Crosby?
I know. I forgot to mention that. The one thing I don't like at the moment for the Packers is special teams. Mason Crosby is old as hell, man, and I like their special team coach. He was great in Las Vegas. Heard good things about him. And honestly, I thought he should have been offered the head coaching job, but I don't know. It's just I feel like there's too much uncertainty with the special teams in general based on what we saw with the 49ers playoff game. It's like, fuck, I don't want this to happen again. But I think Rodgers will be Rodgers and just put us in position to at least get the field goal. So I would say Mason doesn't have to kick it more than 40 yards when that happens in the fourth quarter.
I could see that. The other thing is, though, do you think, based on some of the games, some of the outcomes last year, or even just situations, not really outcomes, do you think Rodgers still trusts Crosby to do that, or do you think he's going to take more control over it? Be like, you know what, I'm not going to settle for this. Get enough to get that field goal. I'm really going to try to score touchdowns here because I really can't trust Mason Crosby anymore with that game-winning kick.
No, Rodgers, they're very close, have been with the Packers together for a long time. And Rodgers, here's about Rodgers. He's great, but he likes to do the bare minimum to get the game win. You ever notice that Packers usually don't win by huge margins?
Yeah, they don't.
It's usually they dominate in the first half, and then they slow down the last half, and Rodgers has to kind of wake up a little bit. Okay, it looks like they're catching them. I just got to make sure we put us in good position.
It's so weird,
That's
though.
just not how he operates, man. That's why people say he's very efficient, because he just does the bare minimum he needs to get the job done.
Well, and he takes zero risks. The guy has almost no interceptions for a reason, but and that can hurt you a lot because then you're not taking that 50-yard shot that you probably could to win the game. You're settling for maybe a little dink and dunk here to get in field goal position, and then you put it on another guy. But at the end of the day, he's still credited with that game-winning drive. I think that's the part he likes.
Yeah, he does. Strangely enough, Rodgers doesn't even have the most fourth quarter comebacks, which I thought was kind of surprising. He does?
Derek Carr?
I thought Tom Brady did for some reason.
I think Derek Carr might, or maybe that was a last year stat or 2 years ago. But Derek Carr, I know, was really up there. But I mean, how often are the Packers playing from behind?
Not often.
It's not that often. So
especially in the regular season.
Right. You don't need. So that's the thing. That's why it's such a weird stat, because that also means you were constantly playing from behind, which that's not good. You should be. You could say that Rodgers gets a lot of early leads, and that's really up to the defense to not blow it at that point.
Yeah, in normal circumstance, if this was in Green Bay, Rodgers and team would definitely have a huge lead going into the half. But because it's in Minnesota, I don't think that's going to be the case in the first half. Like I said, my prediction is it's going to be a game-winning field goal from the Packers.
And I believe so. On the opposite, I really think the Vikings will win this game, just because they're at home against the Packers. I think they'll win. But if this was in Green Bay, opening up in Green Bay, I would probably say the Packers would win. But just because they're at home, I think the Vikings do win this game. After that, I don't really know. I mean, they got to go on Monday night against the Eagles, and we all know how much Kirk struggles with those Monday night games.
That is true. Yeah, so my predictions for NFC North, it's going to be Packers, Vikings, Lions, and then the Bears. Sorry, Dan. Yeah, we have a live audience today if you didn't know. We got Troy, Mr. Dan over here, actually working past after hours,
Grinding.
grinding. But yes, that's my prediction for the NFC North.
I sort of have a similar prediction. I would just flip the wait, you said Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears, right? Okay, yeah, I'd just flip the Packers and Vikings. I do think the Vikings are going to win the division this year, mainly because the Packers are sort of shuffling up their offense, the players wise, not like their scheme or how they're gonna their strategy or anything like that. But I just think it's gonna be a learning curve for those receivers where the Vikings don't have that same kind of learning curve. They're gonna be able to hit their stride right away. Where I think the Packers, I think if Lazard doesn't emerge as the number one, I think Rodgers is going to have a terrible time trying to figure out who's the guy I can trust here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have this season being very similar to the 2018 season, where surprisingly they went 13-3 with
13-3.
virtually almost no offense.
Yeah.
I see that kind of happening. Which is why I predict the Packers will probably go 12-5, being a 2 seed.
Yeah.
But then again, that goes. I feel like if they're 12-5, they may not be the NFC North division champs. So that's interesting take I have, and I don't see them winning the NFC Championship game. I mean, I'm almost going to say they might lose in the divisional.
Yeah, that's very. I mean, based on what they've done in the past couple of years, I would say yeah. Especially getting to the NFC Championship game as often as they have is it's kind of mind-boggling that they can go that often, have that many like 13-win seasons in a row is amazing, but to not win a Super Bowl out of any of those is maybe a little bit more concerning. But
Yep.
hey, I would take the 13-win seasons. The Vikings have literally not had that since 2017 when they got their asses whooped by the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. So, like, I mean, you don't need to win 13 games to win the Super. I think the Rams only won 11 last year.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting there. You know what I mean? You don't just getting that at least one home game in the playoffs gives you such a boost that you don't necessarily need to be like the number 1 or number 2 seed.
Yeah. And I talked about this with someone. It's like I feel like I would be comfortable with Rodgers in the playoffs if he doesn't have the bye week. Like he comes off that bye week not very sharp. And it kind of fucks him over sometimes, especially last year in the playoffs with the 49ers. It's like people will say, oh, he's the best. He's like the best regular season quarterback. And I would say arguably he's one of the best playoff quarterbacks, but he always has a very off game going into the playoffs, and then he started to put work in once he wins that game if his defense or other offensive pieces help. Like, I had no problem with how he performed against the Bucs in the NFC Championship game. Like, 3 TDs, no interception. And then the only real thing that kind of led to that demise was just one, or I would say a couple bad plays. But in terms of overall performance, he was fine once he got over the first playoff match of that playoff run.
No, and like I said, the Packers are just. I would love if the Vikings can win 13 games a year and make it to the NFC Championship that often, because it's always a 50-50 on whether you're going to win and then go to the Super Bowl. But I don't see the Vikings winning 13 games. I think 12 games is a long shot. I think 10 games would be great, but I mean it's going to be a struggle. They can accumulate a good amount of wins right away because like their first 5 games outside of the Packers, they don't play anyone challenging. I think they play the Bears and Lions also in that 5-game stretch, so it should be easier for them. But after that first 5 games, I want to see what they look like after their first loss, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what's your overall prediction? What'd you say?
I would put them. I'm gonna say 10-7. If they can get beyond that, that'd be great. But I'm gonna say 10-7.
Playoffs?
Oh yeah, they'll make that as the 7 or 6 seed. But yeah, they
so
won't.
Wild card round.
Wild card. They will not win the. Oh, I did say they would win the division though, didn't I?
I think so.
So then those conflict. I have conflicting feelings about this. There's just no other way to put it. Like I think they could win the division. I think it's a strong chance, but then again, I don't see them winning more than. I definitely don't see them winning more than 12 games. So
Maybe we can revisit this later once the end of the season rolls around for sure.
yes.
I think we could take a quick break, and then we'll kind of shoot some shit. I got some Twitter memes I wanted to share with Mike that are sports related. Don't worry. So sit tight, and we'll be back in a couple seconds. Well, Mike is trying to pull up a video.
Found it.
Oh, he found it. So, all right, send it in so we can present it. So here's what me and Mike are going to do. We're going to do some Twitter memes. Dude, if you know me and Mike, we just share memes every day, out of office, in office. Mostly out of office, I'll be honest.
In office, though.
Yeah, so the first video we're going to share is Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, is into UFC fighting now. And there was a video on Bleacher Report that I saw where he was doing a few rounds with a professional fighter. I'm assuming he hired him as a trainer because Mark has all the money in the world to do that. So me and Mike are going to do like a reaction video to this video of Mark doing some sparring.
First of all, this guy is like super sweaty. Like robots shouldn't sweat, but this guy's sweating super hard.
I mean, robots can sweat, right?
No, that's condensation, but this guy's sweating.
I'm sure a scientist can make sweat glands, like mechanical sweat glands.
They have to be the first guy to do it.
Can you imagine getting your ass kicked by Mark Zuckerberg?
That's why I knew you were going to say that. So that's why. Okay, so, naturally, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, I'd kick this guy's ass. Well, here's the thing, though. All right, kicking Mark Zuckerberg's ass, not a big deal. But if you got your ass kicked by Mark Zuckerberg, you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
So, no matter what, you always look like an ass. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, because first of all, you're beating up on a guy that looks like he should get beat up.
Right, exactly.
But then you get beat up by a guy that you should be able to beat up. It doesn't matter. You're right. It's a lose-lose situation.
It's a total lose-lose situation. And this guy's got a shit ton of money. So, why would you want to pick a fight with him anyway?
He actually is not doing that bad.
Is he, though? Because, this guy, the trainer guy, is obviously letting him have all these moves. Do all these things. It's definitely it's a one-sided fight, we'll call it. I'm sure this trainer guy would mop the floor with him. But, you're not going to touch Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I feel like he has pretty good lawyers, too, if I do win. The thing that I notice is, the takedowns are, so slow. And I get why, because it's just sparring.
Right.
Mark's not trying to really beat this guy up, and he's trying not to beat Mark, especially if he's hired by Mark. Someone said in the comments where, the replies is Mark's training to be Batman right now.
That would be the most scary, the scariest Batman. It would be Mark Zuckerberg. I could not imagine his voice trying to do a Batman voice.
Halt.
He's just so weird, and just his demeanor and everything. It'd be a very weird. I wouldn't want to be saved by Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, just because he's just a little awkward.
Just the person he is, yeah, basically. I've seen The Social Network. I know what he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they gotta Hollywoodize that a little bit. But in terms of the overall story, just
he had nailed it.
It's the same with the rise of Bill Gates. Back then, if you're nerdy, you're kind of timid. But Bill Gates was that guy where I'm the nerd that isn't timid, and that's how I became a billionaire.
Bill Gates walked so Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos could run.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, I forgot my man Jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the verdict here. What's the verdict here? Can Mark fight or not?
Mark could fight, but more importantly, he could sue the shit out of you, so it wouldn't matter.
Just leave the bar if you see Mark.
Yeah.
If you run into Mark and he gets a little aggressive,
I don't
just
see
carry
Mark
on with your
Zuckerberg
day.
Get a bark though. Where would you meet this guy? You know what I mean? He doesn't seem like the type of person who would be at any normal social event.
True.
You know?
That's ironic because he is a guy that created a social network.
Irony, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, next meme. Let's see. Oh, this one is not even sports related. I just wanted to share because me and Mike are both Mexican.
Half. That's why I'm white.
Okay, so to the audio listeners, this dude is carrying what, Mike? 10 plates on one tray?
Nah, it's got to be more than 10. It looks like, honestly, 20 plates because they're stacked up on top of each other.
Dude, just look at his hip, dude. He's using
he's literally sideways just to hold it up.
Bro, I feel like I don't know
you
how
have
they
to
do
have
that.
a lot of wrist strength.
Yeah.
A ton. And a shit ton of confidence, obviously. Yeah.
He's going down. I didn't watch the whole
The
video.
steps, I
He's
didn't see
going down
this part
steps.
either.
He's going across the whole restaurant. Oh my God.
And he's holding something now, too. Like, he just grabbed that little tray holder.
Oh my God.
Dude. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't even. This is malpractice by this restaurant, by the way, to have one guy do all this.
I need to give this man a raise. They didn't have another server there to help him. It had
No, now the guy steps in. That would be me.
Yeah,
I would do that.
The
too.
guy was like guiding him,
Yeah.
making sure no one's in the way, but you couldn't get another person to like split it in half.
I would like to be the guide guy.
And the guy's not super huge either. Like he has a lot
not
of
like-
strength for how like little he is.
Not like 10-pound plates. I mean,
But 10 times 20?
well, it's not 200 pounds. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of light.
He's using his shoulder to help him a lot too, which is good. If that was all on your wrist, is he wearing like a wrist strap?
That's pretty hardcore if he is. I think he might be.
Dang, it's like those weightlifters that wear like
I used to wear that sometimes.
yeah, like they
Is
were
it
they
like
were on their
wrist support
knees
and shit.
and their wrists.
Oh yeah. This guy's this is real America right here.
I mean, if I open a restaurant, I'd hire this dude.
Yeah. Hire this guy.
God damn, that food. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. That food doesn't look that good that he's carrying.
It's pretty huff.
Well, then again, I can't really see all the details.
Nah, it's probably huff, dude.
I mean, imagine he was carrying like 20 fajita plates. Just
That could be
steam
heavy.
the
That could
whole
be heavy,
restaurant.
yeah.
The fire alarm probably would go off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with that one guy that'd be like this. There's always that guy that has to turn around and look at the plate that's steaming fajitas.
That's me.
To be honest, I don't like my fajitas coming out steaming because I don't want that attention brought on me.
Love that cold food. Cold food and bad service.
Yeah, but props to this guy. He deserves a raise.
Shout out to that guy.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, this one is going to be about fantasy football. So here's another Bleacher Report video. They're doing like a combine to determine the order of their fantasy draft. He's like,
That was such a weak throw.
but that was an accurate throw. I feel like
It was accurate.
I feel like I'd be stuck there for 5 minutes trying to get that throw in.
Yeah, I would be too because I'm trying to throw it like a spiral.
Dude, look at that form.
And not, just he kind of just,
Kind of like a under toss almost.
Yeah, almost, yeah. I love that the flip to. So when I did a similar style draft a while ago, but instead of this, we just did chugging competitions until there was one man standing, and then that guy would get first draft pick. So you'd have to, we'd fill all the cups up to the same amount, chug. Whoever was last gets eliminated. Then everyone goes again, and we just kept doing that until you tapped out or you were the last man standing.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. And then we drafted right after that.
I feel like I wouldn't be
I had
competent
a
to draft good. if I were to
horrible
do
lineup.
that.
I ended up drafting two guys that were already drafted.
So
night.
would you say a strategy would be to be the worst so you would be the least drunkest? So you use
So some people would do that. Some people would be like, hey, I'm just not going to. I didn't know that about that strategy when I started, though. So I just started chugging.
Yeah, because being the first pick's annoying because there's a lot of waiting around, especially in a snake draft. I feel like I want to shoot for the mid tier, so my pick is always consistent.
Yeah.
Round over round.
I feel like for snake drafting,
But like,
it's top pick.
look
or
at this
last pick.
dude, boy. He's ear to pocket, everything, man.
This guy got number one. I hope he got the first draft pick. Just off of effort, not even time. I hope just based off effort.
Dang, I wonder how fast his 40 was.
I think they timed it. Oh no, they timed the whole
I might
thing.
just have to use my fingers to count it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't sound right. 4 or 5
That
seconds.
probably, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. We don't really know this guy.
Hey man,
He could be that. Remember that one ball boy, Red Lightning or whatever? That guy was sprinting down the sidelines during college games. Like,
oh, that dude.
yeah, this could be that guy.
He wore the red suit, right?
Yeah,
Damn, I forgot
he
about
could
that
be that
dude.
guy. Look at the. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
he's
No,
leaning
his
forward
form
and
is different than the sprint dude. Like he kind of looks like a goblin when he's sprinting.
He does kind of look like a goblin.
All right, carry on. Did you send something?
I did. I sent the Harry Styles video.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Very controversial.
So what makes my show unique is that I don't only talk about sports, man. I like to talk about things outside of sports because I like to appeal to the mass audience.
Like
Example,
Harry
one
Styles.
time I had a couple episodes about The Bachelor and Bachelorette because I used to watch that show religiously. Not so much now, but still, I like to mix it up. Oh my God, dude, my computer is being slow right now. So I might have to cut this off if it's going to take this long. Let me try something. There we go. All right,
Nice.
so
Here we
put
go.
some context. Harry Styles was sitting next to Chris Pine, his co-star in the movie,
I believe it was co-star. Yep.
in a movie. And if you watch this video, we're going to show it right now.
It's a very weird video. Very strange interaction.
Yeah, okay. We're going to wait to the beginning. Sit. But apparently, like, he, like, leans, like, almost over Chris Pine's lap, and it's implied that he spat on his lap. But
I don't know. You can even
I don't see spit. That's the thing I noticed the most.
You don't see spit, but watch his mouth, like the way he. You see how he does this motion, like that, like the.
You think it was like a
you could see-
mid-breathe or something?
No, dude, I don't think so. It doesn't look like an exhale. It looks like an exhale, not an inhale.
And I think Chris Pine
And
kind of
look at
noticed
his
that, and he looked
reaction.
down to see.
Yeah. I'll say this. I don't think he like spit in the traditional like spit. I think like he might have moisture may have came out of his mouth when he did that, and like unintentionally didn't realize it, and that's why Chris Pine kind of gave a weird reaction like that.
But it was just weird,
And
like
moved on.
Harry's response to his reaction just kind of doesn't match what we think happened.
The more I look at it, it looks so suspicious. Like he looks like he doesn't even care that he just did it. But also, what if he
it's
did
almost
it?
it's almost like he's trying to cover it, but at the same time, it's almost like he looks confused as well, and he's trying to be a little polite about it by like just doing a little wave because he doesn't know what maybe Chris is doing.
Well, he's also dating Olivia Wilde, so the lady right next to.
Oh
Chris
yeah,
Pine.
yeah, because I think Harry and her had a thing.
Have.
They have a thing?
I'm almost positive they still are.
While she's dating Chris Pine?
She's dating Chris Pine?
That's I thought you meant.
No. I'm saying Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde. are dating,
Okay.
which is weird why he's sitting in the middle. Maybe that's why he did it.
Mm.
What if that's why he did it? Like, dude, why are you sitting next to my lady?
Nah, Harry is too secure to think like that.
Never. I mean, here we are watching a video of him potentially spitting on Chris Pine.
If you take the mouth motion out of it,
You can't take the mouth motion out of it, though.
but just
It's
to
a
say,
part
like,
of
if
it.
you don't look at his face, it just looks like he's just sitting down normally, just a little too leaned in. Wouldn't you say?
No, he doesn't even. That's the thing. He's not even leaning. Like he's doing the normal lean you would do if you were about to sit down. Like see how I'm leaning a little bit to sit down. Like he's doing the normal lean. It's just it's Chris Pine's reaction where he looks down and looks a little confused
But even
because he stops clapping too. Like he stops as that happens. He stops clap. Maybe Harry Styles said something under his breath and that Chris Pine heard. And it wasn't spit. It was just like a.
maybe he did say something snarky.
Yeah, he could have.
But he grabs his sunglasses right away after that.
Who?
Chris Pine. See? Watch. Bam.
Interesting. I didn't even notice that.
Maybe someone said this at work earlier. It's like Harry may have said something about his sunglasses on his lap.
I feel like you would have been able to make that out. Like what would he say? You would be able to see that.
Oh, there's your
motion.
sunglasses, by the way. Oh, thanks,
But
man.
you don't even see his mouth opening for that. You know what I mean? Like he would have.
I don't know. It's a strange interaction for sure. I'm looking at Olivia, like her reaction. It doesn't seem like anything malicious going on, though.
Yeah, she doesn't really look down. Chris Pine does.
I don't know.
We could just be making totally,
I'm going to stand for my
something out
man,
of
Harry.
nothing. But
I got my man's back since he got mugged that one time.
he got mugged.
Oh, yeah. You didn't hear about this?
No.
It was Valentine's Day in 2020. He was in London or somewhere in the UK by himself for some reason. He talked about this in the Howard Stern show, too, where he was just out and about. I think he was on his way to a friend's house. He was by himself, and these dudes tried to rob him. They pulled a knife on him, and
They know it was Harry Styles. Like
yeah, it was Harry Styles.
Oh, they like targeted him.
Yeah, and
specifically?
they asked Harry to give them his phone. He said, "I can't, mate." He literally says, "I can't, man. I can't give you the phone." I think he threw his phone into a canal too.
Earlier or something.
No,
or
no. So
as that
they wouldn't
happened?
steal from him. Well, think about it, he's Harry Styles. He can just buy another phone,
Well,
but he also
mean-
doesn't want his shit to be leaked on if he gives it to someone else, though.
I mean, I don't know if he has an Apple phone or anything, but those are like really hard to crack.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
that's what he was saying. Like, say they asked for his phone, he said no, and they scruffed him up a little bit. They didn't actually stab him, but he was able to get away, and he sprinted, and then they lost him.
Well, they totally fumbled the bag then. They could have.
You just imagine, like, I saw this. It was a reply on Twitter. Just someone just going up to him like, "Aye, Ari, give me all your quid, you muppet." As you can tell, my British accents aren't very good, but I can just imagine the reaction sounding so polite but so threatening at the same time.
What did he say? What did he say? The robbers again? Oh, mate. What did he say? I can't, mate.
Like, he literally says like so calmly in the interview. It's like, I can't, mate. I just can't.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I'm glad my boy's okay. But I was ready to throw hands for him when I heard the news, man.
Weird that they only wanted his phone.
Well, no, they asked for the money. He gave him the money,
Okay.
and then they asked for his phone next, and that's when he said no.
That's where he drew the line.
Because I'm sure he has a lot of shit in that phone, and the
Yeah.
one chance that they were able to crack it, I want to take that risk.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So yeah, I'm gonna think that this is a strange misunderstanding, and there's more to it because I think one of them confirmed that something else went down.
I feel like Chris Pine would have said something by now. I'm not that say anything about Chris Pine, but I'm pretty sure like, hey, this dude just spit on me. Like, you know what I mean? There'd be more of a reaction. I don't think most people wouldn't let that slide without saying something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't like his outfit though.
Whose?
Chris Pine's.
Why? What's wrong with that?
Actually, I don't like Harry Styles' collar. What the fuck's going on?
It's one of those what do you call those things?
I don't
that
know.
the Brits wear sometimes? Like in Austin Powers, he wears one.
I know what you're talking about, but I feel like those are
Is
more
that it?
puffier. I don't know. I don't like. Actually,
That's what I'm thinking of, an ascot.
that's what Troy said.
I don't know what it is though, because it just looks like one collar is.
Look at this. We got some commentary from the live audience. So I need to do my show with more live audiences.
Yeah, we need to just do it here often.
Just do it in the middle of the workday.
Yeah. Just talk about what you see during the work.
Our boss is just gonna come out like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Get back to work." All right. So moving forward from this strange interaction, did you have anything else, or was that it?
That's about it.
I don't have any other notes. I kind of do want to talk about this news I got. You're on the sports channel, so you
Sports
probably
channel.
saw this too. Jake Paul is gonna fight Anderson Silva.
Yeah, that's coming up really. Did this just get agreed to or something? Because it's coming up kind of fast.
Yeah, I believe so. It was today.
That's wild that they would set it up and then it's gonna be on like the middle of October or something.
Yeah.
So like in a month. That's kind of wild to set up a fight like that. That makes me feel like it's not gonna happen.
Well, the last one didn't happen. It was
Right.
Tommy Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, though. Like, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they're taking a page out of Mayweather's book.
Yeah.
They're never going to put themselves in a position where they're going to lose. That's why Mayweather is so successful. Like, he arguably one of the best defensive boxers I've ever seen, but he plays it strategically where, like, oh, this guy's a little worn out. I can definitely take him on now. Or this guy's kind of new, like Canelo. I
Yeah.
can definitely take him out now.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's just how it works. Boxing is a business game. Or are they boxing or are they MMA fighting?
I believe they're boxing.
Okay.
I don't think he'll do.
Troy, are they boxing? Jake Paul.
No, it's Logan. Or no, it is Jake Paul. Boxing.
It's boxing.
Yeah, it is boxing.
Yeah. So yeah, boxing. And this dude's 47 years old. He's
It's a money grab.
Exactly.
But people are gonna watch. Not me, of course. But people are gonna watch.
Was it Jake Paul that just fucking knocked the bricks out of
Nate Robinson.
No, not Nate Robinson,
That
and
was
also
embarrassing. It was so dumb for him to
Frank
do that.
Gore, who's also over 40.
Yeah, I don't understand why either of those guys did that. Hey, Adrian Peterson's supposed to have one of these too. I don't know who he's fighting, but he's supposed to. Him and another former NFL star are supposed to have a boxing match, a celebrity one.
Who do you think win in a fight? Jake Paul or Rodrigo Blankenship?
Oh,
The kicker
I
from the
just don't
Colts.
want. I just don't want to see him get hurt. So, I would do everything in my power to make sure that didn't happen.
Wait, who? You don't want to see Rodrigo get
Yeah,
hurt?
I don't want to see Rodrigo get hurt.
Yeah, I actually like
I
him.
think he's cool. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, as much as we're talking shit about the Paul brothers, hey man, I give him props for just.
I don't.
I at least do. Give him props for just securing the bag and being a little strategic about it. Because at the end of the day, who's gonna really care how you make your money?
The IRS
Unless you
doesn't.
murder someone. I don't want people murdering for money. I definitely don't want that. But yeah, the IRS. Well, I heard that Logan Paul still hasn't gotten paid for his fight with Floyd.
I can see that. I can totally see that.
Oh yeah, that's why he was
It's
calling.
probably
That's
so
why they're
hard to
calling
get.
out. Was it Dana White? No. The Paul brothers called out Dana White for something, but I can recall that Logan didn't get paid yet when this little thing was going on Twitter.
Yeah, it's probably so hard to get money from these kind of guys. Like once they have the money and they're in charge of it, they get to decide. Like,
I mean,
how.
you haven't got paid yet for your last fantasy season.
Oh, actually, I did. I did get paid 2 days before the league started.
Is it the same league that didn't pay you?
Yeah, and I found out that it was. So I got second in my place in my league. I thought it was only $200, and it's $100 fee, like league fee. So I was thinking I was only gonna walk away with $100, but it's actually a $300.
Oh.
So I got $200.
You want to go out this weekend since you got big money now?
That's what they call me, big money.
Yeah, Moneymaker Mike is his nickname.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they call him that. I really don't have a nickname, do I?
I don't know. You gave me mine, so.
Oh yeah,
You gave me mine like a month into here.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're the new guy. I wanted to make sure that nobody hated you.
Yeah, but like no one else has a nickname here.
That's not
It's
true.
literally just me.
I got nicknames for other people. I'm not gonna name drop anybody, but I do have nicknames for people.
Nice.
Let's see where we at in time. The camera already died, so I'm just gonna have like a. See, this is what I do, Mike. When my camera dies, I just have like an evergreen picture that takes up the video space that's supposed to be there. So I used to be where I would the camera died, I got to restart. I got tired of doing that shit.
So this is just the audio.
Yeah, it's the audio, and it's fine because I feel like a lot of my
Enter
listeners
the
are on
audio.
Spotify anyway.
Yeah.
Are you trying to do some ASMR now?
Enter the audio section. Yeah. Try to guess what he was just doing.
I'll leave that open for interpretation for the audio listeners. God, there's gotta be something else we can talk about. I mean, what time's? I gotta get going. I got 10 minutes, so we might have to wrap this up. Well, Mike, thank you again for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. Are you even busy?
No. I'm shaking my head right now. No.
Well, at least thank you for taking the time to join my show.
I'm off my grind for a week.
Oh yeah, Moneymaker Mike also is huge in the grind. That's his little gimmick.
That's my bit.
So once again, thank you. We will definitely have to catch up again and maybe do a recap towards the end of the season to see how accurate or inaccurate our predictions are for the NFC North and our teams being the Packers and Vikings. When do they play again after week 1?
Week 6. Wait, is there 18 weeks or 17 weeks in the season? 18, right? Because of the bye?
Technically.
So they played the second to last game because I know the Vikings finished against the Bears again.
Maybe that week will determine the NFC North.
It should.
That'd be cool. That's an opportunity right there. All right. Once again, thank you to the listeners and subscribers for sticking in, watching this week 1 of the Vikings versus Packers matchup. It's gonna be a great one. Both good teams. Packers are slightly better though. And then listen to us chat shit about some Twitter memes.
Chatting shit.
You chatting shit. I'm getting to Love Island. I used to watch it, but I kind of stopped because I was getting a little bored. But I heard the newer seasons are better.
I can't get into any of those shows.
It's all right, man. Okay, so yeah, once again, thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video or episode with a friend. Every little bit helps. I will see you in a couple weeks with another special guest. So stick around and enjoy the rest of this season.
Thanks, AJ.
Of course.
Sweet.